Abraham Lincoln makes it official. None of his staff is to talk to Southern gentlemen. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny. And this week, Prospector, it's a rather calm week for Lincoln's first.
The Union's back.
The Union's back.
Right?
Yeah, officially.
Lincoln's been president for a week. Where's my Union,
Yeah,
Tommy?
Lincoln's been president for a week, and he said it never went away. So,
oh well, good. So it's back.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
That's perfect.
The week's going to open up on March 8th while the Lincolns are holding a public reception at the White House. Those Confederate gentlemen that have been like their peace commission from the Confederacy, trying to negotiate a truce and allow them to still be a Confederacy without what. Yeah, they're still here in Washington. They're trying to gain access to President Lincoln and discuss ways to avoid a war, and they are again unsuccessful in getting anybody's attention. And
because Abraham Lincoln, I assume, is like, I don't want to talk to a bunch of traitors who think they're not a part of this union that we still have, because you can't just secede from a union.
Well, right now he's just too damn busy having his party, so he's not even going to pay him any mind. But later in the week, he's going to give a directive, and we'll get there.
So it's not about being traitors; it's about him. He's just throwing some parties.
As of March 8th, he's throwing a party. Later in the week, it's about them being traitors. On March 9th, the cabinet will meet with Lincoln to discuss the Fort Sumter situation. And the situation is not good because, I mean, for the last several months, we've had Major Anderson going, can I pretty please get some more bullets and men and food? And
I assume Lincoln gave him those things to support him?
Well, the options on the table are: do they evacuate, do they reinforce, or do they resupply? And Lincoln's going to, after talking to his staff, he's going to write a letter to General Scott saying, how long can Anderson hold without any supplies or reinforcements? And I'm going to guess the answer is going to be about 15 minutes because...
he's been like, I've literally been asking for this stuff for months.
Yeah.
And you guys aren't doing anything. Like, I've been holding as long as I can hold. I can't hold anymore.
I need something. Yeah, and if you remember from last week, a lot of their foodstuffs right now are coming from smuggled in shipments from South Carolina itself. So there are Union sympathizers in South Carolina that are feeding them. Also on March 9th, the Confederate Congress is going to issue Treasury Notes up to $1 million, Johnny. I don't see anything wrong with issuing Treasury Notes of $1 million per bill. There could be no way this is going to bite them in the ass in 6 months or 7 months with inflation. Absolutely no way this is going to hurt them.
So who's doing this? The Confederates?
Yeah, this is a Confederate Congress.
They're making
their own money up to $1 million banknotes.
$1 million bill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who? Mm-hmm. Who? I mean, okay. Who has that? Who could get $1 million bill at this point? That's insane.
Yeah, well, I think they're just thinking that.
Or is it just because their money is trash?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm guessing their money's going to be trash because I'm not sure what exactly it's going to be backed by. The Confederate Congress is also going to set up the National Army for the Confederate States. So again, taking that whole states' rights thing and just throwing it out the window. We are the Confederate Army, not the Army of Georgia.
Yeah, it sounds like their banknotes are going to be backed by the same thing that's backing all of this stuff, and that's their imagination.
Imagination. On a more positive news, St. Louis Convention in Missouri, like we talked about last week, said that we're not really interested in seceding. They're going to make it official and say that there is absolutely nothing that can compel them to secede from the Union. So,
excellent.
A slaveholding state flat out saying, nope, I don't care.
Yeah.
We're here. We're staying.
Good for them.
On March 11th, the Confederate Congress would adopt their Constitution, which would be ratified by all 7 seceded states. Braxton Bragg is going to be selected as a general for the Confederate forces in Florida, and General Scott will respond to Lincoln's letter finally by stating, several days later. I mean, it takes, mail's slow.
I mean,
we might want to improve that in the future, but mail's slow.
I mean, how are you going to do that? There's no way.
Yeah, well, we got telegraphs coming around. Maybe we should just start telegraphing people. Lincoln's letter, he's going to respond to it by saying, I really don't know how long he can hold out. I do know, though. I do know.
By the time this letter reaches you, he will probably not be there.
He says,
anymore.
I don't know how long they're going to hold out, but I do know that it's going to take several months for them to be able to be reinforced. We're going to need a fleet of war vessels and transports with 5,000 regular troops and 20,000 volunteers in order for this to be a feasible thing. Now, my question here is again, I'm just a lowly, staff officer. I have but we're not at war. Shots have been fired, but we're not at war.
We've ignored them.
We've ignored them. So it just, to me, it seems like pack the supplies on the boat, row the boat or steam the boat or, sail the boat over to the island and drop the supplies off. And if we get shot at, there's our war. And if the South is continuing to say that they don't want war, then why would they shoot at a boat that's just trying to resupply a fort that's not in their territory?
Well, and also, I'm obviously nothing in the military, but that seems like an awful lot of things that they would need to protect or defend a fort that's not at war.
Right?
Like all those troops and boats and everything else, like for a tiny little island, like they're not even all going to fit there, right?
I don't think you can actually fit 20,000 troops in Fort Sumter, but maybe they got some new bunks. I don't know. On March 12th, Fort McIntosh is abandoned in Texas by the federal troops there. At this point, it just seems like everything federal in Texas is just being abandoned, which was a month ago almost at this point that we considered a Union general traitor for issuing that order. I guess now maybe they're finally all starting to follow through with it.
I mean, when they finally did secede and join the Confederacy, you got to kind of figure that all that stuff's going to go the way it has everywhere else.
We're also starting to get some foreign response about the Confederate and Union situation here. Britain newspapers are full of opinion articles about whether or not England should or shouldn't support the Confederacy as its own independent nation.
So the parents have noticed their children's little spat?
Yeah, the parent, mommy has noticed that we're fighting. And as of right now, mommy's saying, meh.
What are you going to do? Let them duke it out, right?
I think right now they're thinking, maybe if they actually get at it with a war, we could just start selling them all of our junk that we don't want anymore, and we might be able to turn a profit on this. But for now, absolutely no foreign country has acknowledged the Confederate States. So still, the Confederate States are imagination.
Yeah. England's probably also looking at it like, hey, maybe we can have them move back in with us. And,
maybe we got to have them move back in so we can keep them under control. On March 13th, Lincoln would tell Secretary of State Seward to specifically not see the Confederate gentlemen. And I quote, "As such, a procedure would be admitting that the Southern states were out of the Union, and I am not going to admit that they are out of the Union." So he gives a directive to all of his cabinet members that absolutely none of them are to meet, talk with, discuss, write letters to, acknowledge anything in regarding the Confederate States. So don't meet with them, don't talk to them, don't even send them a photograph of yourself.
Because they're a bunch of dirty traitors.
They are a bunch of dirty traitors who are faking this breakup. This essentially right now what Lincoln's doing is he's in a breakup and he's just refusing to acknowledge the breakup. For my beautiful wife at home, I'm going to be Lincoln if you ever try to break up with me.
Same.
I'm just going to ignore it.
Same.
You could bring in as many boyfriends as you want to the house, and I'll still be sleeping on the couch like, no.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
How you
guys want a beer? You want to go talk about the Civil War? Lincoln would then confer with a former naval officer, Gustav Vasa Fox, which is a great name, Gustavus Vasa Fox.
That's a mouthful.
And he asked him his opinion on how best to resupply Fort Sumter. And again, the answer is you're going to need a lot of boats, which we're not at war.
Why so many boats?
We're not at war. I understand if we're at an open war, I guess maybe they're expecting that to be fair, when we did try to send that last boat, it was in fact shot at, so.
Yeah, there's that.
Which was ignored.
If you bring more boats, more targets.
Yeah, more targets, right?
They're more likely to hit it.
And the week is going to end, Johnny, with the Confederate Congress thanking Louisiana for turning over $536,000 that they stole from the federal U.S. Mint in New Orleans. So thank you, Louisiana, for stealing our money and giving it to the Confederate States. That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you enjoy this, check out Historic Hindsight, where we talk about random historical things from Civil War battles to Ford Pintos to crazy prohibitionists.